All right, so here we go. Let's get this thing up and running. Let's do some things here. And so what we want to do, just for the sake of a couple things, I'm going to add a new backdrop, a level 2, just so we can see the progression here. Um, and what I'm going to do for now is I'm just going to leave it white just so we can see that it actually triggers over, even though we'll build the level here in the next one. And so what we want to do, I've got this here 2 and I have it shifted so it's 2 and 2, which is important. So now what happens is I need to create a sprite. So the reason that we're going to do this next part is we want our sprite to be visible, because we're using a microbit, a joystick controller, so we need to be able to see it. So what we're going to do is I actually designed one using a pixel app online, Pixelator. This is nothing fancy. It's just kind of my little guy that I always use. You could draw one. You could make this a dot, a circle. It's really whatever you want to do. But I'm going to add this little guy here. And so when I go in, I just want to make sure that he's centered, and he is. Okay. All right. So the first thing that I need to do with this guy is I'm going to need to shrink him down. Um, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to move him so I can see that he's small enough here. So I'm just going to make him 30. I think that's going to be plenty small. All right. So now that we've got this, what we want to do is we want him to show once the start command broadcast is out. So we don't want him to be seen until then. So we're going to jump here that when I receive start, all right, we're going to show him. You'll see here that we'll eventually have some ways where we hide him when he's on the start screen, so he's not actually seen. And the other thing that I learned, from watching some things and learning through some trial and error, is we do need to wait a little bit here, just in case there's a glitch in the thing. So I just like to make this a half second. And now what we're going to do is we're going to put a forever loop in here. So once it receives start, now we want to control it that if it touches black, the game's over. If he sees red or touches red, then we want to move on to the next level. And so we need an if block in here. So forever if, all right, then we want to, if he's touching a color. So we're going to drag this. If our sprite is touching, I'm going to ink blot. We're going to pick this black. If we're touching black, then we want to go through and we want to broadcast that the game is over. So we're going to broadcast, and now we need to add a new message. Let's call this game over. Once we have that, we also need to say, well, what happens if we actually reach the red square in this game? So just like what we did, we're going to put another if block in. If we're touching the color red, and we want to just ink blot this. This just makes it a lot easier. We want this red. If touching red, okay, then we're going to change our variable by 1. So we're going to change the level number by 1, and then we're going to broadcast the start level. And so this way we don't have to have all sorts of goofy things. It's automatically just going to keep these things going for us. And so we want to broadcast start. And now we should take us to level 2. So now a couple other things before we test this to make sure it works. We do want to bump over here to the stage, and now we got to put in here that when we receive the game over command, what do we want to have happen? We need to switch the backdrop back to the start screen. So we want to switch this backdrop when the game's over. We are going to go to the start screen here. And we also need to do this with the start button. So I'm actually just going to drag this thing up right here. We're going to use this same code a couple times. Make sure this drops in there, but I didn't see it in there. There we go. Come on. There we go. All right, so now we want to go here, and we want to go to when I receive game over. We don't need to switch the backdrop on this guy. We just want to show just like that. And then the other thing we want to do that when our sprite, our character, broadcasts game over. All right, so when I receive game over, we actually want to hide him. We don't want him to be seen anymore. So we're going to go down here to hide. And that should take us back. Oh, you know what? We're probably going to have to put this guy on here too. So let's put this in here. When I receive game over, we're going to drop that over and we're going to show. So I think we should be in shape. Let's see how this works here. Nope, no, that's not what happened there, was it? So when we need to add this guy here too, we want him hiding. So the control, we want to put when clicked for our sprite, we want to hide as well. So this is why we test and we just troubleshoot some things here. Let's try this again. There we go. Not seen. I click start. There he is. So now I can't control him, right? So we need to change something in our code. We got when clicked. We're gonna hide him. We're gonna show motion. We want to right here forever. We want to go to the mouse pointer for now. We're eventually going to have to switch this over to the microbit, but for now, for testing purposes, let's just make sure our levels are changing. Alright, so he's kind of following here. So if we go here to the black, well, we kind of let's see what happened there. Oh, there we go. We're back to start. Okay. So you can see what's happening. It's switching to level 2 because of the red. So what we probably need to do here on this level, because my opening screen is red, we need to get here to these backdrops. And we actually need to change this rectangle to not be red. So let's fix this. Let's just put a new rectangle in and get this guy out of here. So let's fill this. Let's make this, let's just make it green. 35, 100, 100. There we go. So now we're going to add this green over this here. Let's just hide this guy here, just like so. All right, then we need to go back to our code. I think that's going to help eliminate any logistics here because that red was messing up our title screen. So this was 35. Let's see, 35. Perfect. And so I think that's what we've got there on our costumes. For this was 35, 35. Okay, now let's give this a run and see what we got. So we hit start. There's our character. So if we hit black, there we go. Nothing changes. Now we're good. We hit start. We got it. We got a glitch here somewhere. There we go. Let's see if we can figure this out. Now if we go up here to the green, it's not switching. Alright, so let's try to go back and let me troubleshoot and we'll come back to it. All right, so I saved you, not myself, about 45 minutes of time. I redid code, started all over, did it again. It was not working. Nothing was working, because I didn't take my own advice. And so it actually does work now. Where when we go to run this code and we start things now, if I run into black here, it kicks me out. And if I go up to the green, it actually now moves me to the next level, which I don't have anything yet, but at least it transitioned over to level 2. So the glitch was this. I finally figured it out. I had told you I was doing 35, 100, and 100 for my backdrops, which I had programmed here. And actually, that wasn't the case. I finally got to the point where I did the ink blot, and so I said when touching color, I went to here to the little eyedropper, and when I clicked on this green, I discovered my number was actually 34. So the small details matter. They matter so much. That one little discrepancy has wasted me 45 minutes, and it was the reason why my code wasn't working. So we are back in shape now. We start, we can go through. My little guy is going to go here, moves to the next level. Obviously, nothing to do right now, so if I go to the end, it kicks me out. And then when I go to start, you can see the level number right there. We're in good shape. So now what I want to do is transition over. I'm going to design just a couple more like tutorial levels, and then we're going to get into designing a controller using the microbit and the accelerometer.